Okay. Hey, it's 2:01. Why are you late, Chris? Why are you late, Chris? I got nothing. Okay, so um, I got an idea for today. Hello, by the way. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good week. I've had a good week. I was up to something this morning in the old studio, and I started putting together a whole bunch of junk, which I'll show you in a second. And what I mean by junk, well, I'm glad you asked. So there's a whole bunch of different things that I've put together for me to work on something with. But in the meantime, here's today's page. So this is from the stack of jelly plated images. Hiya, Linda. Hiya, Tim. I've got about, I think I counted something like 80 jelly plated surfaces to work on. And that's great. So plan is to use those for pages and story pages, and to just allow that to push myself a little bit further. But another thing that I've done is that I'm trying to figure out a couple things. One is I'm working on a commission where I'm doing a couple of big pieces for for an office, and so I'm thinking about, because it's landscape, so I'm trying to figure out some landscape stuff. So I went and I prepped a whole bunch of little cardstocks to try to test out some ideas. Now I can do, like I do this, right? Hold on, I'll show you something first. Okay, but just before I do this, here is today's one-page story on jelly-plated surface, and there is yesterday's one-page story on jelly-plated surface. So, good fun. Thank you for the suggestion. Overhead. There we go. So, this is one of my sketchbooks. And so I've just found an old page, and I just chopped in a little section here where I can monkey around, trying to apply some marks to surface and see what that does for me. This I never got to, but this I did. And so basically the composition part is here through here, and let me outline that better. So I just drew over some old pictures, and so there's our composition area, and I'm just playing with the idea, like here's some mountains in here, and that was as far as I got. That's it. I'm late on saying hi to everybody. Hi, Susanna. How you doing? Hi, Liz. Hey, how you doing, Frankly? Good to see you, sir. Good to see everybody here. So that's for the gist of this. But what I've done is I've prepped a whole bunch of surfaces on different materials. So this is a really textured paper. I don't know if you can see that in the majestic camera, but it's just a whole bunch of different surfaces that I've printed some things on. I've made some different woodblock prints to use and to put into things. And so I've got some printed material on some of these. I got some stenciled in patterns on some of these. This is a paper towel, believe it or not. And I've, stuff from other projects I've stenciled over. We'll just draw right over that. So the whole idea here is to monkey around with some landscaping stuff, which I don't really do a lot of. So I thought this might be some fun in the sun, So anyway, so we got this. Let's just, I've got no particular pick out of the stack. Let's just, here, I'll turn it over. How's that? That makes it easier to choose. Let's go with, here, that one. Let's see what we got. Oh, blue. All the stuff I added was blue and white. Okay, so there's our first place to start from. Now, the other thing I did is that, and this is the thing I recommend to people, this is a tablet here that I have in the studio, a Kindle tablet. So this is what I've done, is that I wrote Canadian Outdoor Banff, and there's a bunch of images. That's it. I don't get to blow them up, and I'm not particularly worried about capturing the whole of the thing. But by using images that are this small, this thumbnails, it makes me have to think, ow, about what's going on in the compositions. And to not, rather than being overly focused on the details, it encourages me to really try to get a handle on the image in and of itself. What that also leads to, and what that also encourages, is you exploring marks that you might not have otherwise. It encourages you testing out some things and seeing possibilities in those compositions if you reduce them down to a more simplistic form. And a good way to do that is by having a simplistic source. So if you have to work from a source, and you're not commissioned to do something very specific, do that for yourself, because it lets you, in the magical creativity that you are, flow. So, okay, so I'm just picking one of these at random, and we'll just get started. So the reason I chose the BAMP stuff is, you know what? I want that to be the sky. Anyways, can you hear me okay? If not, let me know. Yeah, and we'll get that sorted out. So I've just picked one of the random things and one of the pictures. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut inside here. And I'm going to do this as rough and tumble as I can. This is a chalk paint marker. So they have this kind of creamy aspect to them. So this is rather random, I appreciate, but we're going to make some sense out of this. So this is our first one that I'm choosing from, and then we're going to go and put in some trees and some foreground. Maybe let's do the background first. So I've got a weird off blue that I'm going to come in, and so here's some of the mountain ranges that are in the background. Again, I'm not being overly particular. Let me zoom in a little bit so it makes it easier to see. What you want to, Chris? Okay, is that better? And maybe I'll think ahead here and take a magical piece of tip and put it in one spot. We got a whole bunch of stuff I'm missing. I need to get back to my creative process. I want to drop by, say hello. I miss you. Goodbye. Oh, I can hear you. It's really great to see you, Frank. But I'm really enjoying your gaming stuff. And if you're feeling that, keep at it. But yeah, you're being highly creative at putting together your gaming stuff. So Liz says, I did a Pokemon folder and journal. I noticed the Pokemon elements absolutely did not jive with my paper and ephemera. What would you call the Pokemon art style? And then Frank is singing the lyrics to Littlest Hobo. Is that stuck in everyone's head now that might know that song old enough if you're Canadian? There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Anyways. Maybe tomorrow. Anyways. Yeah, so the Pokemon stuff is highly cartoonish. And so you've got these really clean bended lines and organic shapes. And if you've got a texturous surface, you're going to look at that in a different way, because as your smooth line arc goes over the ridges of a surface, then it will disrupt that sense of the lines you're probably referring to. So that might be what it is. I don't know. Okay, so let's see, what do we got? I've got black, I've got a white. So now we're going to chop in some mountains. And so what I'm doing is that I'm just going to put down and then immediately destabilize marks as I make them and sort of diffuse them a little bit. Just because we're going for the texture of the mountains. I hope that helps. Really great to see you, Frank. people, if you get a chance and you're interested in tabletop gaming, check out Roll for Tobacco. Frank has been building quite an interesting setup as a GM, and my oldest son really vibes with that. He's a GM for a number of his friends. So yeah, I told him about Frank's channel. I think he actually watches it. So I don't know whose kids do what they suggest. All right, so now maybe this is starting to look like water. Maybe, right? So maybe not. But what we're going for is these crests, these tops of the mountains in the background, right? And then we're going to go and punch in some darker values in here and move those in and about. Again, I'm diffusing them down with my finger and trying to just add some interesting shapes and marks throughout here, and seeing what that gives us, you know, just to keep the eye moving and to try to explore some of these environments a little bit more. So this is just our first one, and I'm going to put some trees in our foreground in a second as well. Pokemon So Clean in colors are primary, maybe makes me wonder how it would look distressed and grunged. Yeah, give it a go. Yeah, Linda says try it. Yeah, great suggestion, Linda. Give it a go. Grunge it up. Yeah, that's very clean, very opaque colored. It's a really basic palette. There's not a lot of exotic colors in there. You know, Pokemon is a weird thing, because when you think about it, it's a world where kids are taught at a young age to go out into the wilds and capture giant monsters, magical creatures out in the world, capture them, and then have them fight against other ones. It says nothing about education. It says nothing about you know, the health and safety of these kids. They're just kids on their own going off into the forest and the mountains and wherever else, and capturing magical creatures to battle. That's crazy. Anyways, the kids like it, but don't look for any sort of realistic sense of fundamental societal rules there, because there are none. It's just pure kid logic. Okay, so here we go with there's our water now below our mountain range, and so I'm going to come up here, and so I'm just using these paint markers for this. I'm not taking out our pattern. I like it, but what I'm going to do is sort of get some sort of idea that it's part of the sky by putting values down and then pushing them off again, right? So there's that. What was I looking for? Black. Thank you. Thank you for that reminder. I think I just have the one skinny black marker. Maybe we use something different. Put a really deep blue. What does that do for us? Oh, it does fun things. There we go. Makes it a little more interesting. So some of these cool textures that we're getting is because it's a granular, thick piece of cardstock, and at the same time, by destabilizing colors on top of this little friscolation that's happening from the stenciling process, getting all kinds of neat stuff out of that. Diffuse. Cool, learned a new word. There you go. Perambulatory. There's another one. I don't know. Okay, so I've got a couple of other values. So let's put in some of these trees. And so the image, let me pull it over here. That little one right there, that's what we're doing. And you know, we're taking some liberty. We're not putting a whole sky in and stuff like that. But you know, it's there. Okay, so I'm going to put these trees in to our foreground. And this is a sort of underlying value that I'm putting through. And I'm doing it really simplified because we're going to add more texture and with the other values. So there's the start of our forest in the front. We'll see how this goes. I'll knock out a few of these. Again, like I said before, I'm not really I do background serviceable to story, but I don't really just focus on landscapes in and of themselves. And Lori put forward an interesting question the other day, and that is, do you? Why? Do you or don't you? Because we've been watching this show where personally I'd like to see the judges on it put back in the corner and said, no, because we're watching the Landscape Artist of the Year and destabilize. You're in Christopher language mode today. There you go. So Landscape Artist of the Year, where the judges are so ridiculous. And I thought a lot about this, and I think I understand the way that they're choosing things, and the way that they're choosing things is based on, I think that they want to represent these artists. So they're picking the ones that they can then say, hey, come to our gallery and we'll make you famous, babies, you know, or something therein. Okay, so, oh, look at this crazy. Yeah, one of the grandkids must have got to this one. That's all right, we'll use it. I ain't gonna hold us back. Except for maybe it doesn't have any color in it. Wow, that's beat up. I don't think it has much juice left. Oh, we got something happening. Wow. Put you aside. Reevaluate your future, fella. There's what color is this? Oh, this is an even darker green. This is good. This is what I'm actually looking for. So now I'm coming through and putting some of this. This is the underlying color that I wanted, and we'll come through that nice little cute green in a second again over top. But I forget sometimes what tool that I'm using, and I'll use it like at a strange angle or something. In case of paint markers, you can't use them on their sides. They go, oh no, you ain't, like that. Christopher's Long. What is the nickname? I am a Christopher because our youngest is a Chris. And that way he didn't get called Little Chris. Because I'm so petite. But he's not so little anymore. I mean, as an adult, he grew up to be about 6'1", so. But, you know, I'm still 5'18", so it doesn't help him any. All right, so, oh, wow, look at this one. Holy camole. I gotta have a talk to my grandkid. That's brutalized. Let's try good old Posca. I like the contrast of, as you're getting further towards the end of something, that you start getting in these brighter colors, darker colors, and working those together. Yeah, I'm not really a nickname. You know, if people don't like typing Christopher, you can call me Chris. It doesn't matter to me. Just don't call me late for dinner. I'm a lot out of the house sometimes. It's terrible. So now I'm starting to put in some of some of the branches and shapes here. Get these trees in. And then we're going to move on to our next picture in a moment. I don't want to sit here and overwork stuff all day. That's no fun for anyone. But I think we got an idea of the scene. There we go. Okay, so there's our little forest of trees in the front. And hello, Black Maker. Hello, Grizz. So I'm just going to come in and... Oh, hold on, my thing is turning off. I'll turn that. Oh, I turned it off. There we are. We're back on. Back on. We're cooking with the gasoline. There we are. So here's our black coming through at the end just to push back the background and pull forward the trees. A little shape to that hill. One might be cooked too. There's another one of these chalk markers that I think I let my granddaughter use. And she used it. She used it all right. Here we go. So now I'm going to just come in here and work back in between our trees here. Cut some of the marks inside of them. Like in here. Just got a little bit separated, so we'll fill that back in. And then we'll put a little foreground in, and this one's done. Next. You can call him Runce Man, but that's just as long. Where do you find out how long my name really is? As I have two middle names. It's funny because in the Canadian ID, you know, you try to fill that stuff out. Passport, whatnot. My name's too long. All right, so we're going to... Something's beeping at me. I don't know what it is. I don't care. There's that yellow in there with that. Yeah, that's more interesting. And we'll do some white. Some white in there too and line that up. Just lightening up our foreground. Okay, so there's our first doodly-doo. The depth was very awesome. Oh, thank you. That's very nice of you. Anyone else have nicknames? Mine was Clutch as a kid. My job was to stand on the seat and hold the gear shifter. No car seats back then. Shift it, Clutch. Okay, so there's our first one. Let's just grab the next one. Let's grab this one. This looks unnecessarily complicated. Some pink. All right, so there's our first thing, and we'll stick this aside. And we'll put together we'll start a little stack of these suckers up there. And so here's our next one. This is a pink card with blue upon it that I have got to get fully in the frame. I left this black line at the bottom on this one because I plan on putting another value across there, maybe like a big bright orange. Okay, so here's our next one. Yeah, I had a nickname when I was a kid, and that was Christopher Runsman. No, that's not true. Yeah, no, I really, we all have random nicknames, but I can't think of anything that ever stuck for me. Let's start. Oh, there, it's right in front of my face. Now, I've got a regular white post-it, but the reason that I'm coming through with the chalk one first is that it's sort of the creamy part of it is just kind of interesting to me. So this is a lot of blue ink on here. So I'm going to use that to our benefit. Because as soon as I put this chalk marker down, it started picking up that blue immediately. So we'll blend it. We'll make it part of our sky. Perfect. Anyhow. You know, let's oh, I got different colors on the tips of my fingers. That's all right. And we'll come through this white once more. And see if we can, no, we can't pick up that. I was hoping we'd pick up some more colors, but no. So there's our random sky shape in the background. You know me, I don't like limiting myself, so let's grab a pen. What have I got here? I've got foreground, mountain range with some peaks on it, and then there's this back area as well. So this is all just, so this is our whole composition laid out. And fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've got cakes and snouts, and we're going to have a lot of fun today. Okay. I've been called Lynn during my lifetime. There you go. Not very exciting what this is. Well, I chose Runcie Man for the social media stuff because my last name, Runciman, you wouldn't believe the different the suggestions that I get from that, like different ideas that people have of what my name could be. And it's Runciman. That's it. Soft C. And I don't know anybody else with my name. I've never met anyone else with Runciman as their last name. It's not from Canada. People came to Canada with it. We had a Solicitor General in Canada named Runciman. I don't think we're related unless you go far enough back. But yeah, it's just a bit of a random name. So I've got to figure out a way to get people to understand how to say Runciman instead of Runkman, Raunchman, Runsman, whatever other iterations I would get. And so that's why I came up with just taking the I out, which I thought might have been the piece of confusion. So now people read it as Runcie Man. Good enough. Close enough. But I got called Runciman a lot. Whenever people did figure out my name, that's how I was generally addressed. Runciman, what are you doing? Runciman, quit juggling them chainsaws, kid. Never juggled chainsaws. I don't want to lie to you. So this is just hitting big flat values in here and putting together our different mountain areas, so on and so forth. There are different planes. As there's an interesting thing about this landscape is that you got your little foreground island, you got your water area, then you got this ridge, and you got that ridge, and you got. I like that. I like it a lot. And it's sort of those little things to look for in a composition. If you're looking at some sort of source imagery to work from, if you're able to close your eyes, to squint your eyes, and see a value shift or a value break where you can differentiate the midground, like the foreground, the midground, the background, because this area tends to be light or dark and this is intermediate. And so it does these wonderful things where it separates itself. Then go with that. Go with that. Linda wrote, "Run, see man." See how the other way of how I sign it is that I sign it as this. I sign it RUNCMA, and then a big N for some reason, just because I like balance. So yeah, it's such a random way to sign, but you know. So I keep losing the little thumbnail that this was referring to. Which is fine. It's fine. It's fine. So I'll come in with this weird green. Use this as a, and then we're going to start figuring out some unifying factors in here as well. What I mean by that is grays, white, you know, black in there, and tying parts of this composition together, because there's going to be a separation in these planes. Like you're going to have a little valley that cuts through or something like that. That's how it works, right? Nature has a plan. I look like a guy with a plan. The Run See Man. It's Run See Man. Yeah, I never had some witty variations on my name or anything like that from friends. It's just Run See Man. You know, McTavish. Hey, we'll call him McT. Whatever, right? I never had anything like that. So I'm just coming through here now and separating our planes with these little bits of white. I will come back through for that. But I'm going to pull that white up the side of this hill, give it a little more shape. It ain't pretty, but it works. Losing a lot of the stuff that was on the surface in the first place of this image, but that's, you know, just how it is. So I'm just it's Mother's Day this weekend, so for all of you that are mothers or have mothers, which is pretty much most people, I hope you have a good Mother's Day. I make random writing tools work for you. Oh, that's very nice of you. Well, it's what we choose to use them for, what we choose to do with them, right? Like here's a fun thing to add in the stuff. This is a medium charcoal, okay? And the fun thing about charcoal, we'll see how this works, because this is still, I'm working pretty wet in the wet here. So I'm going to get a point. I believe it's going to happen. Charcoal breaks so easy in the stick. Okay, so I've got some rough kind of point. So with charcoal, because it has the granulated line, but because it's so soft, and this is a medium, but it still blends out rather well, and so you can do some fun things with charcoal where you put it in there, but you can then just sort of chunk it up so it half disappears, right? This is Sasquatch country. What are you saying? Are you teasing me because of my height? So that's a nice thing about adding different tools into our drawings is that they can do different things for us. And, you know, why not? Where's the rules that say that's right or wrong to do? So here we go into this side over here. See how it just sort of smudges out like that, and then at the same time it gives it new value, new texture to it. You know, whereas if you use a pencil crayon and stuff, it's not going to be as, you're not going to have the ability to smudge it around, to sort of monkey around with that mark that you've made. Pencil crayon tends to be just this sort of, it's the wax part of it, right? It's just this granulated mark on the surface, and there you go. So let's put some this light blue through here. Push it around. My finger's kind of dirty at this point. I should clean it off in a sec. That's all right. We're going to use the dirty part of it to blend here the background, and then I'll clean it up. Use a different finger for the foreground. So it holds on to that lightness. See what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? So there's our second one coming together. I'm going to come through in a second, hit these tops with a white, but I'm not going to do it with a marker. I'm going to see, we're going to use a piece of charcoal for that too, but we'll use a white one. Like that one. So this is kind of cool. The more marks that we get on paper, the more that you get this sort of toothiness to it. Are you working, or is this too much surface? Yeah, I think so. So let's try this crazy kid. Better. All right, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to put some, oops, I'm sorry, I'm going to put some more marks in along here along the top. There's that granulated part I told you about earlier. So there's that, and then we'll put some do that nice little white dividing line that runs up through into here. Am I missing anything? It's the shortest pencil crayon. Did you like that? I use things until they, you know, I use them all the way. That is, there's a reason I have all these pencil holders. Like these different pencil holders that I have, you can put a pencil in, and oh, look at that great pencil, but it's, you know, it's already down to half its size. But I'll use that on things like this. Mind you, this is too big to fit into it, this one, but so that it extends them even further. But when you find a good thing, you don't want to lose it, so you know, you keep that sucker handy. So here's a couple of those trees in the foreground, and I just want one. There we go. Just want to give that a little more shape. Nice little bits. Let's give some interesting marks to more readily define the top of our hillside here. So if you've got like a sharp tool of some kind nearby as well, like you can scratch things in here as well, and that works too. But So this is a Posca, so it's not going to, it's going to hold on to some opacity there as we put stuff through. And then we'll do a nice little tidy line. Just something interesting. All right, well, one last thing, and then the next one. Which way is the light coming from? This is the thing is about using some of these really small thumbnails is that they tend to be flat, right? So I mean, you could put in, if you wanted to, you could sit down and put through some clouds here, just to give it some kind of sense of different sense of volume, larger composition, right? But next, it's a good question though. Really an answer. So there's our first two. I'm going half an hour already. Okay, so let's try another one. So I gotta find a different. We haven't done a light blue one. Let's do that. And yeah, okay. So let's leave that light blue sky up there. Just gonna try to clean off my fingertips a little bit. That's nice. Thanks, Liz. So let's. I'm just dipping my hand in a thing of water and then trying to clean my fingertips some. I get paint all over myself. If you haven't figured that out by now. All right, so let's play with this a little bit. I'm going to do something rather strange and peculiar. There is often these images with these mountain ranges where is this one toast? This is one of the ones I give the grandkids. Yeah, that's toast. There's this interesting thing with some of these mountain ranges that because of the way the light's working, it'll look like they're this sort of dark brown color. I think this one bit the dust as well. Bit the ghost. I was about to say bit the ghost. I know you got some juicy. Let's try you. So we're going to do something just focusing on a part of that last one we did. I just want to understand that a little bit more. There we go now. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got a big glob of brown over here. That's what I'm dipping my finger into. Fill in this area. So one of the things I'm going to have all the kids in school on Sunday, I'm going to have them make Mother's Day cards. Woo! Didn't see that coming. But we're going to, there's a neat thing we're going to try, and that's because not all the kids have mom living at home. And I use wipes from Dollarama. They work great, cheap too. I have to not use harsh ones. It's a good idea. Now, is that for spreading or is that for lifting off? because, I mean, I guess that's just spreading, right? Cleaning hands and stuff. Oh, I see, yeah. That's the last thing I think of is cleaning my hands. So I'm going to put some of this dark blue down in here, work it in. Yeah, it's mostly my fingertips, right? Oh, this thing's cooked too. Oh, no, we're all right. We're okay. We're all right. Deep breaths, everybody. We're okay. It's okay. So there's our mountain starting to come together here. Just a little bit more down into this little valley. Down to the valley below. That's kind of fun. Yeah, cleaning my hands. Something I should be more cognizantly aware of. So let's, where's that, there you are. So I've grown my fingernails out, and, you know, trying not to bite them anymore. Aside from scratching myself constantly, I'm able to do things with them now. And so I find, oh, hey, great fingernails. I'm constantly cleaning them out because I've always got paint and whatnot going in there. That is a little bit aggravating, but that's okay. I'm going to try something. It's like an adventure ride in here. Alright, so I put some white on this brush, and I'm just going to dry brush in some. I'll probably come back if this works. Yeah, the way I want it to. I'll probably come back and do a little bit more of it in those previous two. Forgot the picture. I'm like, oh, there it is. So it's just following those, finding its lines, right? Following the lines in the thing. That's where we find the shapes of things, where the light hits the mountains. And then we can come through and cut nice sharp little lines in there and stuff like that. You're a pen thrower. When I do that, I put a towel down. I get the rush when I'm crafting. Well, I have baskets. I have baskets beside me. So I'm not throwing them too far. So this is the very tip of the flat brush here. Coming through and putting in some little bits, little jibs and jobs there. And then we're going to come up in the sky and cut in here a little bit. Blend that white a little bit more. So this is just a white gesso that I'm using here as opposed to a proper white acrylic or something. So there's some. Okay, so there's another look at those mountains. Oh, I meant to take a look at that that other one. This white. And I'm gonna, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna leave that. That's good. I'm happy with that. Let's. This is a sense of not being finished though, so it's because I'm being too, like I'm being too soft about putting values down. You know. I don't want to make a mess. Yeah. Nope. It really works when you allow, you know, if people are going to get close enough, they'll see the marks and the business that you use to suggest things in your compositions. You know, how does he get the crisp white there? And you get close, you realize, oh, it's because it's probably gobbed on, right? That's how you get a solid white. But until they get close like that. And you know what? I like the idea. I'll encourage people getting really close to a piece in when you're exhibiting it, because you know they're investing in that moment. They're really looking at the work and asking some questions. And I'll let you in on a secret. Art viewers that ask questions oftentimes connect more to the work and want to take it home. So I'm good with those questions. What are we missing? This is only a crafter would find that humorous. Relaxes. Don't throw your stuff around, will you? You hit the dog. Yeah. Well, I'm done with the blue. Sorry, Sparkles, or whatever your dog's name is. So now I'm coming in again with a little more contrast in here, separating these planes. You find a wider brush than that. Using this piddly squiddly little guy. You know, let's try charcoal. I'll put some charcoal in here. See what that does for us. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Where are we at with that? I think we'll put that one aside for now. You know, the artist I craft. Oh, that's all relative. Crafting, picture making. It's all picture making, right? So what we got? We got 3 now. 1, 2, 3. Over there. Next. Okay. So I'm gonna flip this. It's all the same scene. What is it with people always taking pictures of the same thing? Let's. Okay, I found something interesting. So what I'm gonna do, if I can figure out where I just put the. Hey, let's use some Sharpie in here. Why not? Okay. So let's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the side of a mountain and all of its. There's a fun thing about plate tectonics. Is that what it is? Where you've got. Oftentimes when you see mountains that have these kind of interesting, we always assume things are scraped because of the glaciers, but not always. Sometimes it's because a mountain ridge is seeing some serious upheaval that has flipped it over at some point in history. And so you'll get these really cool ridge lines. Oh, we'll use you. So what I mean by the, put this down for a second. What I mean by the ridge lines is that, I'll try to show you in a second, but they're these sort of graduations of tiers, like layers and layers and layers of little amounts of I'm trying to think of the best word to describe it, but it's just layers and layers and layers of the ground, and as though it's like in sheets, like water, like the ocean. And so as you go on some mountains, you'll see all these sort of rising up, all these lines across the mountain, and then when you step back and you look at it and you realize that, oh, that's because the mountain was pulled up from underneath the ground, and this is actually the different layers of earth, or this is the different layers of rock as it's compressed over time. So that's what I'm going for here. Can you see it yet? Is it there yet? So nice. New subscriber. Hey, welcome aboard. Welcome aboard, okay. So yeah, so this is what I'm going for in this one. So I'm really giving structure and form to the hill in this really kind of chunky and sloppy and loose way. And then we're going to start literally carving into it. And so this is where we get to all of these little bits, like so. So that some of our layers that are peeking through now all these different tiers, so that we're trying to make it so that this feels like a mountain ridge moving its way up. That's the theory. Where are we at? Just going to make sure I don't run out my one camera is an old phone, the one that's over top, so I'm able to zoom in now, and picture's better, but it only has so much battery. Is this coming through yet for anybody? Is anybody seeing what I'm referring to when I'm talking about sort of face of a mountain like this? Does anybody else live in an environment where you get to see mountains? I have seen mountains once in my life. I was picking up a friend. They were in Duress on the other side of the country. And so I flew in a plane to BC, and it was really, really, really overcast. But from the plane, I could look down and see the mountains. It was awesome. And then I got a little unnerved because the plane kept going past the mountains over the water, and I'm like, hey, we ran out of country, we got to turn around. So then I saw the ocean. And the plane turned around and went and landed amongst the fog in Vancouver. on the island there, but I couldn't see anything while I'm on the island because it's so foggy and overcast. I can't see the mountains. I can't see anything. So I went and I picked this friend of mine up, and we got back to the airport, and we got him on a plane, and as we flew back up into the air, and I looked down, and hey, there's the ocean. Hey, there's those mountains. And I flew back to Ontario, the flattest place on earth. Well, just a lot less exciting than BC. So yeah, so that was my experience of seeing mountains in person. It's hard to travel when you've got kids growing up, and it's an expensive proposition, and depending on what your ambitions are, your goals there, travel isn't, available sometimes. So I haven't traveled a lot. I haven't seen a lot of mountains and things. There's no mountains where Linda lives either. I've dangerously stopped on a highway to photo rock walls. It's kind of dumb, but it's so cool looking. That's a while ago. Love that mix of color and textures. Oh, thanks, Liz. Yeah, the Canadian Shield, the beautiful thing about the Canadian Shield here in Ontario specifically is that as you're going up north in Ontario, and I've gone up north in Ontario a number of times, you see all these rocky outcroppings jetting out of the ground as part of the shield, the escarpment. And it's great. I've done the same thing where I've pulled over this. I want to go look at that, I've done that before myself, so got to find a safe piece of road to do it. That's all. Stop here in the middle of the highway and travel over to the interior, and do some crazy things. So there's a painter that I like, an abstractionist. I like some abstractionists that I find really interesting. One is named Anselm, Anselm Kiefer, Kiefer. And so he does these landscapes and things, and they're huge. And he uses whatever he uses, tar and things like that. But I like how he makes marks. It's not entirely dissimilar from what I'm doing here, where he just allows the marks to, to decide the form. Okay, so where I put that Sharpie? I had a Sharpie someplace, didn't I? So now I'm going to come back in with this bad boy and tuck in some of these different marks into these layers, and just to start to differentiate some of these levels a little bit more. Messy hands. Look at this business. So I'm hoping the kids, Lori has me restrained from helping the kids plan a little something for Mom's Day. I'm hoping the kids do something. Seen him? Oh, Anselm Kiefer. Yeah, excellent. I'm glad you've seen his work. There's certain creators, like somebody who I'm really impressed with is an artist named John J. Muth. He has done a number of beautiful book illustrations over time. But he is also, like he did complete graphic, he adapted the movie M by Fritz Lang into a comic format, and he did the entire thing in charcoal. So if you want to see an old black and white noir film adapted into numerous amounts of charcoal drawing, do check that out. It's quite impressive, that. It's things like that make you realize, whoa, that guy's got some mad skills. That's some crazy talent in there. So hopefully I'm going to get across that this is like a little inlet of water in the midst of all of this mountain. Okay, now we're going to cut out some of that sky around here. Am I missing stuff? No, I'm okay. This is a light blue. So there's a big bend in this paper. Right here, see? And a big fold in it. I kind of like it. What do I got? There it is. Okay. Now here's my new one, and I still got my old one. So just for this, I'm going to use the old one. So this is putting in some of these little textures and a little more finely controlled lines, and then this should make some more sense of it. Make it a little more mountain-rific. Oh, see, I like that. Yeah, it looks like a mountain. You know, I shared a guy on my page who does ink too, very moody, Romero Clemente. I don't know his luck. Angry, that's a powerful emotion expressed with art. I have to look that up. One of the things I've really enjoyed lately is Goya's black paintings that he did in his last days and last years of his life there. As his sight and hearing is fading him, he painted on all the walls in his house, his little tiny house outside of the city. And it's rare. You've got some really dark, scary stuff, but like witches and things like that. And anyhow, I really like those works because there's just so much emotion in them. Okay, so there's our mountain image. If I had a working gray, I think I'd probably punch all kinds of gray in here, and I may yet. But next. All right, let's go upright with this one. Okay. All right, I have an idea. So I'm going to come in on another view. I have to wonder if when people go to Banff, they're all sent to the same tourism locations. Because if you go online, most of the photos are of the same region. Okay. So there's our water line, right? There's another piece that's sticking through over here. I might just leave this the way it is because I kind of like that quality to it, that it has a kind of a watery vibe. Did I just grab the same one? I think I may have. They're pretty much, yeah, they're the same thing. Well, that explains a lot. So, I'm going to just try to do this bottom of the mountain into the valley. So moving our way down to the water. It's really light. Oh, there we go. Blend it in. Yeah, that feels better. I'm just making sure I'm not missing stuff. Okay, so first off, let's cut our mountains out. Now let's. Oh, see, I like that better. It works with the print that's down on the surface here as well. There's people in this mountain range right now are looking up the sky going, Mommy, what's wrong with the clouds? Someone not know layering helps to cover my torn paper from very hard pressing with glue sticks or something. I don't do craft in a mood. I mood while I craft. Anyhow, I'm chatty today. I'm going to watch and learn. Oh, well, we're always welcome to chat. Yeah, I love it when people are engaged in expressing and chatting it up and throwing in some ideas. No, I don't like that, Chris. Take it out. That was terrible. I don't know what you just did there. Remove that. No, I don't think I ever get anybody that's like that here. Even if I did, I'd be like, oh, well, let's see if it's a cool idea. Just trying to give more shape at the top of our mountains. That's the trick of using little tiny thumbnails, is that half the time you're sort of making it up as you go. There's nothing wrong with that. That's actually a good thing to do. You don't want to just, you're not a photocopier, The day of replicating images as realistically as we possibly can, right? There's a time and place for all things, but honestly, we've got so many devices that just do that now. Why would you compete with those? I think people might be more interested to see what kind of crazy shtick you get up to make your marks. Trust yourself. Maybe. Yeah, that's coming together. Yeah, if people have ideas, one-page story ideas they want to suggest, you're always welcome to do so. Put it in the comments, and I'll make a one-page story from that. That's what you see on the Instagram and the Facebook, and the is pages made from those suggestions. And I'm using these jelly plated surfaces. Where did I put those? Oh, where are they? There they are. So that's where these come from. Is the jelly plated stuff that we've done in the last so many days, where we take these jelly plated surfaces and we do that. So I got a stack of 80 of them that we've prepped. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling on those. So if people have suggestions they want to throw at me, please feel free and encouraged to do so. You know what? I'm going to let this guy a little bit more here, and then we're going to let this guy simmer. I think this one came together pretty quick enough anyways. K Art, do you want us to call you by your screen name or another name? Great question, Linda. Thank you. See, I'm trying to use a paint marker like I am a pencil or something. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's come in with that charcoal pencil if I can find it again. How did you find this, Kay? You're very welcome. Yeah, okay, if the same thing goes for you. If you've got a one-page random story idea you want to throw at me, you know, a couple lines, 3 words, whatever. My favorite color is green because I hate iguanas. That's a weird one, but, you know, we can work with that. Okay, I think that's another one. Yeah, let's see, where are we at? So we've got, oh, we're on 5 already. Good heavens, people, you're fast. Okay, so here's, let's see if I can get them to stay up. Oh, I can. I have the magic power of tape. So there's 1. There's 2. There's 3. And these are in no particular order. There's 4. And there's 5. So I wonder if there's anything I can do to unify these a little bit more. Maybe I'll come in here with some China pencil. And yeah, see, throw some of that granulated texture in the sky there. I like that. And maybe we'll put some more of these marks down in into the valley. Give a little more texture to the hills. Yeah, see, I like that more. Good idea, guys. There's the start of some landscape stuff. Doing this on a weird angle. Better. Yeah, I like that better. There's some interesting things that are happening in here now. We can't see. Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, I'll move it. So here's. I'll get my head out of the way. How's that? We don't need to see my head. So there's our 5. Okay, here's what we've come up with today in our 20 however long we've taken. So here's what we got. We got some different views, different value systems going on there. I think I'd take this China pencil and push back the sky a tiny bit there. And I think that you always work magic on the paper. Oh, that's very nice of you, Susanna. Awesome drawings. Thanks, Linda. So, yeah, this is my first time kind of doing landscape. So this is feeling all right. Feeling like that's... I'm going to keep nudging at some of these things unless I get them away from me. So, yeah, I feel like this is a good first foray here. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. There's things I see now that I might want to change up, but the whole idea is to become comfortable with this. And so by prepping a bunch of surfaces, you know, just splat some stamps and some color, or just, you know, you work on old sheets of whatever. This has got all kinds of tissue paper on it. I don't know why I didn't work on that. There's some jelly plated surface there. And so by playing with, there's some more jelly plating. There's some maps of towns nearby. That turned out kind of saucy, like that a lot. Look at that. We'll do an overhead view of the town. Let's do it now. So these different things that, you know, we can apply to whatever it is that we're working on, these different approaches. Oh, I broke it. You know why? I don't know why. Pencil's too long. Where's that stubby one? Hey, stubby. Don't worry, I found them. Okay, so I'm going to put clouds in over top, and then we'll come in with some paint and fill these out so that this is our view from overhead for the town of Ilderton, Ontario. It's kind of fun. Yeah, see, it's just playing, folks. Awesome. Oh, you guys are so nice. Thanks everyone for giving Christopher a thumbs up and sharing. Oh yeah, there we go. So yeah, so there's our monkey business for today. Yeah, I hope people are having fun. I know I'm having fun. I know that I have been away for a couple weeks where I wasn't posting very much, but I'm back, and you know, I really appreciate people tuning in and coming and hanging out and chatting it up. If you've got suggestions for one-page stories, feel free to throw them at me in the comments. Here at YouTube on a video, or in the comments on Instagram or Facebook post. Doesn't matter how silly it is. It could be 3 words. It could be your favorite color. You know, you can admit to a weird fascination with the word lemon, whatever it is. You know, and we'll try to make a story out of that. The page I did 2 days ago, the suggestion for this page was do a page about the hokey pokey. And so this is what I came up with, was a scientist at a chalkboard algorithmically breaking down the hokey pokey. Because why not? But when we work on things like randomly prepared surfaces like this jelly plated surface, there's the plate print with the orange, and it's really trying to just get whatever tchotchkes left over on the plate off of it. But then I did a brayer off with this green, this swipe of green there, and then I smudged a piece in there. And what that gave me in my head right away was this landscape with the tree. And it was just a case of putting in some marks to denote the tree more clearly. But there's its first panel. You know, and it's like this sort of previously made panel for us that we just have to draw forward, right? So using jelly plated surfaces and the like give you all kinds of beneficial things. The white that's in these doors, the really dark white, or the bright white, however you want to put it, the rest of the doors I just drew with a white, I think it was a white pencil crayon. But, you know, it sort of reveals that I saw a cave in there. I saw the trees, a tree of life, doors of perception, cave of illumination, you know. So these sort of things just come in on their own. The circles that are in the hair and this is why anything goes in my head. These are reinforcement labels for back when we used to write everything on lined paper, and you would be working in your notes, and then you would tear the sheet out of your notebook or whatever it is. And when you try to put it back in your big folder, you'd have to put these suckers around those where the grommets go through. So yeah, try anything, folks. Have some fun. This isn't for anybody but you and me. When we do these sorts of things, this is when you do these yourself. They're for you. They're you figuring things out. They're you finding ways to see things. They're you finding ways to make marks and express things. It's not going to be the same as Billy Bob next door. It's not going to be the same as Mary Jane on the other side. It doesn't matter. And part of how you go about crafting things together really quickly is it starts to help you develop your own expressive language of mark making. So don't be afraid of that. Allow yourself to explore that and to find out and discover ways that your marks authentically make the work that you're doing yours. Earlier, Liz asked a question about, I think it was Liz, that asked a question about drawing Pokemon and how, why didn't they kind of look specifically like Pokemon, because of the materials that she uses. That's kind of what makes it yours, right? And that's nice. I think that's a nice thing. That's a good thing to have and play. Okay, I'm going to sign out for now. I'll be back on Monday at 2 p.m. EST. I welcome everybody to come back and join in. If you've got any things that you want to chat about, or if there's any, sort of approaches, any mediums that you want me to use while I'm working on the page, let me know, and we'll try to fit that in. Chris, I really like when you use pencil crayons and elastic bands. Well, we'll see what we can do. And aside from that, I hope everybody has a great weekend and celebrates the mothers in their world. And I'll see you on Monday. Thanks so much, everybody. Thank you to everybody that took part in the chat. Thank you to Linda, the moderator with the mostest. And bye for now, folks. I hope you had fun. Thanks again.